Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the news cycle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. The Minister, Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, is to commence the flag-off of construction of 4 new roads and staff quarters for the Nigerian Law School, as well as other projects. This was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the FCT Minister in Public Communication and New Media, Lere Olayinka. According to the statement, 6 new projects will be flagged off between this week and next week, and brand new vehicles would also be distributed to security agencies to enhance the performance of their duties. The projects to be flagged off are construction of Kabusa Takushara Access Road, construction of Kabusa Keti Access Road, provision of access road to the new EFCC Academy site in Giri District, as well as design, construction and furnishing of office complex for the body of benches, among others. The federal government has launched a free compressed natural gas CNG bus service in Abuja to ease transportation costs for Nigerians. The buses will reportedly run along popular routes from suburbs in Abuja, such as Mararaba to Eagle Square and Vega Bus Stop. The presidential CNG initiative, in a video shared on its X page, showed the CNG buses began operations on December 2nd, 2024. Recall that the government had said the buses would convey passengers free of charge for the next 40 days. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered an investigation into allegation of the Nigerian Police Force's culpability in the deaths and arrest of protesters during the August End Bad Governance nationwide protest. Amnesty International had accused the Nigerian Police Force of using excessive force against protesters during the nationwide End Bad Governance demonstrations, killing at least 24 people in Borno, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Jigawa and Niger State. The police, in response to these allegations in a statement by its public relations officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi in Abuja, says the allegations appeared falsified and confusing. The police added that IGP had ordered an investigation into the matter. The Nigerian Police Force has dismissed claims linking its officers to a viral video showing uniformed personnel scooping fuel from a crashed tanker. In a press statement by the first public relations officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the NPF clarified that the individuals in the footage were not policemen, but uniformed personnel from a neighboring francophone country. The NPF condemned the spread of disinformation and unverified content that it says undermines the integrity of the force. The chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, has urged the National Assembly to immediately pass the Whistleblower Act bill into law to ensure the success of the fight against corruption in the country. Aliyu made the call during the ICPC roundtable engagement with State Attorneys General in the Northwest on strengthening ICPC's capacity for corruption prevention in Kano. He stated that passing the bill was necessary to encourage those wishing to expose corrupt practices and perpetrators. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his resolve to stabilize the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, and contribute to peace in Africa. President Tinubu stated this during the closing ceremony of the African Military Games 2024 in Abuja. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, President Tinubu, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, reiterated his administration's determination to root out all forms of security threats and violent crimes in Nigeria. The Nigerian Armed Forces Operation Fasan Yama has said that the troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation has successfully conducted a fighting patrol in response to a distress call from the residents and vigilantes of Yar Galadima village in Maro local government area of Zamfara State. This was contained in a statement issued by the coordinator of the Joint Media Coordination Center of Operations, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi. He says the development occurred early hours of 1st of December 2024 when the troops of Forward Operating Base Hanutara were alerted at about 5 a.m. when terrorists attacked the village. He added that Operation Fasan Yama remained committed to eliminating any terrorist threats in the northwest part of the country and Niger State. In another development, stakeholders in the education sector has called for collaboration between school management and parent-teacher associations to address the menace of bullying in schools. The stakeholders made this call in separate interviews in Abuja while reacting to reports of bullying in secondary schools nationwide, particularly a recent incident at the Federal Government College, Enugu. Former President of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, FCT chapter, Dr. Olubukola Dosumu, emphasized the need for schools to develop stringent measures to address bullying. She urged parents to take greater responsibility in raising morally upright children, noting that no school safeguarding policy would be effective if parents failed to play their role, as bullying habits often stem from the home. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has initiated the construction of an intra-city rail network to connect Maiduguri and its environs. This, according to him, marks the first project of its kind by any government in Nigeria's 19 northern states. The first phase of the project will include 12 designated terminals across Maiduguri, linking key areas such as markets, schools, public spaces, and economically strategic locations, and is designed to ease passenger and goods movement, boost economic activities, and expand economic corridors across the states. Isoko Development Union Youth Wing Abuja branch has held its inaugural ceremony in Abuja with a call by the president of the union, Simon Enajedu, for youths to contribute their quota in developing the Isoko people, the Niger Delta, and the nation through youth activism and commitment. Anthony Momodu was at the union's inauguration and now reports.
The Isoko Development Union President Simon Enajedu emphasized the importance of Isoko people as one of the oil-producing community in the Niger Delta and their need for the youth to uphold the interests of its people and Nigerians.
Their absence in the scene for some time have created a vacuum, and in the past we've seen many groups masquerading as representative of the Isoko people. We are one of the highest oil-producing nationality in Delta State. We can attract development to our place through youth activism. Where the elder will not be able to penetrate, the youth are well endowed to go there. Where the elder will hesitate, the youth has the zeal and the energy to also go there.
They will be dealt with. And a matter of fact, Isoko has been shortchanged in different aspects of life. We don't have good roads, we don't have hospitals, we don't have electricity. And we are producing oil. As a matter of fact, we are pains. And for the exception of this democracy, nobody from Isoko has become the minister.
Integrity matters. I have a t-shirt on it. I read integrity matters. When you say the truth, you'll be sidelined. You might be a low ranger, but stand by it. It might take a long time, but the truth will prevail.
The governor of the Isoko Development Union Youth Wing, Honorable Urude Batlomi, thanked the union's leadership for their inauguration, promising to work with all stakeholders, but also vowed to deal decisively with saboteurs of the Isoko people.
Any society without the youth is headed to doom, because life is of stages. Today, we promise to collaborate with all relevant bodies and government, both in Isoko and the diaspora, and work with a mutual understanding to develop the capacity of the youth across the globe. We shall, to the best of our ability, engage in productive activity because by so doing, the level of insecurity and youth restiveness will be reduced to the barest minimum.
To this extent, formally, Isoko doesn't have such things that has been today, because Isoko has been there for a very long time. They don't have a youth wing in Abuja yet, but today is a thing of joy to us that Isoko has this purpose for our people.
We have all come together to ensure that anything that has to do with the legal backing that will foster or that will drive this vision to where it ought to be, we are set to do that. Thank you very much.
The Arewa Consultative Forum Youth Wing representative Lawal Zuberu and other stakeholders from the Niger Delta expressed confidence in the Isoko Development Union Youth Wing to push further the growth and development of the Isoko people and the Niger Delta and the nation.
Arewa Consultative Council, we have faced so many challenges. We have been arrested, we have been prosecuted by the Nigerian DSS police. Why? For speaking the truth. So you shouldn't be threatened at all. They say speak the truth to power. If you speak the truth, nobody will molest you.
My appeal to IDU is that please let a prophet have honor among his people.
There is no gainsaying that the youth of any society or nation is critical in the development and growth of its people and nation, thus must be supported for a prosperous nation and people. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global Television, Abuja.
You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, federal government set to tackle regulatory and bureaucratic challenges. Details of this, as well as foreign and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle. In business, stakeholders in the manufacturing sector have called for increased investment and support to enhance Nigeria's economy. This appeal was made during the 36th Annual General Meeting of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, for the Anambra Ebonyi Enugu chapter in Enugu. The theme of the meeting was revitalizing Nigeria's economy through manufacturing-driven non-oil exports. The chairperson of MAN for Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi, Ada Chukwudozie, emphasized the need for a paradigm shift in Nigeria's approach to exports and the importance of supporting the manufacturing sector to drive this change. The federal government has, in a bid to boost non-oil exports, said it is set to tackle regulatory and bureaucratic issues that are driving up costs of exports, making Nigerian goods uncompetitive in the global market. Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, disclosed this at a ministerial export consultation session with Nigeria's top 100 exporters in Lagos. The minister noted the long-standing bureaucratic inefficiencies, including conflicts among agencies such as Standards Organization of Nigeria and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, which burden manufacturers. Oduwole emphasized the importance of exports in driving economic growth, creating jobs and enhancing foreign exchange, calling for collaboration amongst the agencies and exporters to make the economy work. The Central Bank of Nigeria is preparing to retire approximately 1,000 employees as part of a strategic workforce realignment. Reports gathered say a circular released 3 weeks ago by the CBN noted that the application for early exit package was open to all cadres of staff and will close by December 7th. According to reports, a severance package worth over 50 billion naira has been allocated as the payoff for the exercise. The retirement initiative is driven by the need to streamline operations and reduce staff numbers under the leadership of the Apex Bank's Governor Olayemi Cardoso. On the foreign scene, Chad's President Idris Deby he said his country does not plan to shift allegiance to another foreign ally after breaking off military cooperation with France, at a time when other states in the region are strengthening ties with Russia. General Mohamed Idris Deby spoke after announcing that Chad was scrapping a defense accord with the former colonial power, removing France's last foothold in the Sahel region. Deby says the move is aimed at refocusing on the country's partnership with France and other areas that will have a more positive impact on people's daily lives. He further noted that Chad's military accords with France had become obsolete and did not match the political and strategic realities of their time. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has described the situation in Gaza as appalling and apocalyptic. The UN chief, in his remark, warned the conditions faced by Palestinians may constitute grave violations of international law. In his remarks, read on his behalf at the Cairo conference aimed at increasing humanitarian aid to the Strip, Guterres urged the international community to build a foundation of sustainable peace in Gaza and across the Middle East, as reported. The ongoing conflict, which erupted on 7th October 2023 following a deadly attack by Hamas on southern Israel, has resulted in heavy casualties on both sides. U.S. President Joe Biden has issued an official pardon for his son, Hunter, who was facing sentencing for 2 criminal cases, despite assurances that he would not intervene in his legal troubles. The president says in a statement that no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because his son Hunter was singled out only because of his son, and he stressed is wrong. The move is sure to bring about fresh scrutiny over the independence of the U.S. judicial system, especially at a time when incoming President Donald Trump has moved to appoint loyalists to the FBI and Justice Department himself. The younger Biden was convicted earlier this year of lying about his drug use when he bought a gun, and has also pleaded guilty in a separate tax evasion trial, but had not faced sentencing. In sports, ahead of the 2024 CHAN qualifier doubleheader against Ghana, Super Eagles interim coach Austin Eguavoen has invited Kano Pillars midfielder Rabiu Ali and 29 other home-based players to the Super Eagles B camp. This marks the 3rd phase of camping for the home-based players after the Nigeria Football Federation organized 2 earlier seasons in Abuja. According to the Nigerian Football Federation, the players are expected to resume camp at the Remo Star Stadium, Ikenne, as the first leg of the qualifiers is set to be played on 22nd December in Accra, while the return leg is scheduled for the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on 28th December. Other players invited include Eimba FC goalkeeper Henry Uzoemena, Remo Stars wing-back Ismail Sadiq, Enugu Rangers midfield ace Kazim Ogunleye, and Nasarawa United defender Victor Collins. Mohamed Salah closed the gap on Erling Haaland in the Premier League Golden Boot race to 1 goal after converting a penalty in Liverpool's 2-0 win over Manchester City at the weekend. City star Haaland has 12 goals after 13 rounds. Egypt's captain Salah has 11, while fellow African internationals Nicholas Jackson, Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa each have 8 goals. Omar Mamouche, another Egyptian in fine form, has scored 13 goals in 12 Bundesliga matches for 2nd place. Eintracht Frankfurt here, AFP Sport highlighting, I beg your pardon. Well, with that, we'll take a quick look at some of our top stories as we wrap up the news cycle. And that's it on the news cycle. And it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using handles that are showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.